As we enter peak holiday season, the National Liquor Traders Body has joined forces with taxi bosses to promote festive road safety. We speak to Convenor of the National Liquor Traders, Ntimane, for more. Lucky, good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the SABC.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and Merry Christmas to you and to all the viewers of SABC News.
Thank you so much. Perhaps we can actually look at some of the measures that have been taken during this peak festive period to promote safety for, South Africans and road users at large. You can perhaps talk to us about the aim of the campaign, particularly long-distance travelers.
Thank you so much. So we saw a need to partner with Santaco as the body that is responsible for the taxi industry in South Africa to address the issue of road safety, as we know that, with the long distance travel that is prevalent during the festive season, that leaves a lot of room for anything to happen with regards to road fatalities. So what we have done is to identify taxi ranks that serve as a point of departure for taxis that go to neighboring countries or distances that are over 400 kilometers. So what we have done in partnership with the arm of Santaco called Shokomela, which is responsible for road safety initiatives for that organization, was we identified 100 road safety champions that were trained and were empowered to do checklists on all taxis before they left a taxi rank to ensure that the health of a taxi is not compromised, but also to ensure that the commuters that are using these taxis are protected and are safe and are able to get home and be safe with their families. But also, I need to emphasize, questions have been asked as to why the alcohol industry and the taxis. For us, it's really about the captured audience. If we look at Santaco, they have about 16 million people that they transport on a daily basis at peak. And if you look at the tavern sector, we have between 8 and 10 million people that you service every month. So you are looking at about 26 million South Africans that we're able to interact with. So meaning that if we have behavioral change programs, we are really able to affect a large number of people in the country. But also, the taxi industry and the tavern sector are two of the largest black-owned businesses that we have as a country, and we need to protect that, but also we need to work together to ensure that, we are seen to be doing something for the community, but importantly for the country in addressing a very important issue of road safety.
Absolutely. It's actually speaks to a broader conversation that needs to be had about, when we shine a spotlight on township economies, because it's an integral part of the South African, economy. When we look at how public transport sector influences the numbers, playing a critical role in the country's economy. And when we look at the importance of that relationship and also the effectiveness thereof, how has it been received, though, particularly during this festive season? How are you also going to measure the impact and the success rate of it?
So what we have done is we've developed a checklist. So this checklist enables us to know how many of the taxis that have left the tax ranks have actually passed in terms of ensuring that they tick the right boxes of this checklist, which talks about 10 issues as it relates to the tires of the vehicle. Are the lights working? Is the hooter working? Are the windows in good condition? Are the doors able to open and close? So some of the things that, one might take lightly, but might have a huge impact in terms of the safety and the credibility of a vehicle are those things that we're able to check. And if a car or a taxi does not pass any of those checks, it is not allowed to leave the taxi rank. We should be able to report on the results come the 9th of January when this program comes to an end. And we need to appreciate the support that we received, from Distel, which funded this initiative. But also I need to highlight, whilst I have this opportunity, that, organizations such as Heineken, for example, have got a Sifika Sonke, a campaign, which literally means that we arrive all of us together. And this program seeks to encourage taxi drivers to rest every hour to ensure that they are able to have the right energy to reach their destination, but also appreciate the work being done by the South African breweries around the issue of alcohol evidence centers, which promotes testing for those that are suspected to have consumed alcohol. So certainly the alcohol industry is doing its part. We are not folding our arms back. We are working together with law enforcement officials to ensure that we bring in positivity of doing good for the country, but importantly to ensure that we save lives.
Lucky, then just very quickly, as we look at the relationship and the narratives around alcohol during this festive period, But also just broadly, looking at creating a new narrative for mobility in South Africa, which is actually from an article that I read earlier on, where it seeks to shift, transport disadvantage narratives to that of transport justice, but also looking at the role of technology and other stakeholders getting involved in addressing inequality. What do you think that's going to look like for the industry and for the two industries going forward?
So if we look at the conversations that are happening between Santaco as well as national liquor traders, is to seek to address the issue of jaywalking, also of drinking and driving, where we are looking at implementing a pilot project where our customers, our consumers at taverns should be able to, reach out to the taxis for them to be transported home to ensure that they are safely home. But also we're looking at an issue of using the taxi and the tavern real estate to transport goods, being able to move goods, from point A to point B using the taxi partnership that we already have with Santaco. So for us, this relationship goes far beyond just road safety. We feel that this will open up a lot of economic opportunities, for the people that have that have links to the taxi, but also to the travel sector. We know that also the value chain is going to benefit from this, and this is a value chain that speaks to the township economy. It is important that we manage and support the township economy because that's where the majority of employment comes from. For example, taverns employ over 250,000 people, and the taxi sector has 250,000 drivers. And if you look at the queue marshals, the rec managers, so you're looking at combined over 600,000 jobs that are supported by these two important sectors. So it is important that we continue to work together to contribute positively to the South African economy, but importantly, to the township economy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lucky, for your time and for echoing those sentiments. National Liquor Traders Body having joined forces with taxi bosses to promote festive road safety. The convener of the National Liquor Traders, Lucky Ntimane, joining us to weigh in on that conversation.